I also am a president of the Rotary Club of Nairobi. I'm honorary president of Women's Network. So I want to summarize that and add that I am Kenyan and I hail from the western part of Kenya. And today we are speaking as women leaders. So you can pick up on any one of those that you have heard me mention, and I'll be happy to take it forward. I want to go to my immediate right.
So good evening, everybody. My name is Pauline Warwe. I'm the chairperson of Business Women Kenya. I am also CEO of a company called East Africa Customer Care Center. I am a businesswoman. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here because we're speaking as women who are doing business and the effects that will have on us tomorrow.
My name is Wangwe Kariuki. I'm a communications specialist. I'm here on behalf of United Women's Council. I'm here to give solidarity to my fellow women in this cause to help our country to have peace. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jerry Kirene. I am the president of the United Women's Council, an organization that focuses on building the capacity of women leaders to lead within their spheres of influence and also empowering women to achieve their best objectives. I'm also a public policy specialist and a researcher in public policy. I am also a businesswoman, and today I sit in my capacity as the president of the UWC, the United Women's Council, to make our statement to the rest of Kenya on what we feel about what's happening tomorrow. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Catherine Moko. I come from Mount Kenya region. I'm here in my capacity as a lawyer and also a founder of an organization called Kate Care Foundation. I cater for the elderly and the youth. So I'm here to speak on behalf of the elderly in our country and the youth in regard to what is happening in our country. Thank you.
Thank you. There is one young lady who is coming back, and she will come with two other women leaders, one whom I won't introduce because you know her, and another who is representing persons with disabilities, and women with disabilities in particular. So, thank you for coming. We have a statement, and our statement is shared by all of us here as women leaders, together with KEPSA and the Kenya Coalition of Youth for Peace and Security. This is a coalition of many young people's organizations, the Global Peace Federation, the other organizations you've heard us mention today. So I will read, and then I ask that if there are any discussions that we share them. So I'll read. Tomorrow has been planned. We together here affirm, if peaceful, allowed in our constitution, but demonstrations in restricted areas are not. It doesn't look like anything we say at this stage will convince the former Prime Minister, Honorable Raila Odinga, to pull back from the streets tomorrow. Yet we know if he chose to do so, even in the 11th hour, the rallies and the demonstrations would end. However, we as women have scanned the horizon and note that the voices of women, voices of youth and elders have not been heard or invited to speak on the matter of the planned mass action starting tomorrow. The organizers of this mass action say that the activity will continue tomorrow, Monday, 20th, to the days ahead. So during this time, over 8 million Kenyans in the informal sector, largely women, in medium, small, and micro enterprises will effectively be off the street. They will close their shops, their stalls, and their stands to secure their goods, their wares, their livelihoods, and actually their lives from the marauding crowds and the security agents. During the days ahead, these Kenyans will not bring home the ugali and sukuma wiki. As small as it has been in the past, it won't be there. Even as the current daily situation for Kenyans is hard as it is, the very same Kenyans will be pushed further down the poverty scale by the mass action. They will be reduced to greater inability to thrive. And this is not all. During the days ahead, the informal sector and several other income-earning sectors, such as farming, hospitality, tourism, and others, including education, will further suffer. But those like farming, hospitality, and tourism will suffer further depression as the Kenyan shilling continues to depreciate against the dollar, the cost of business rises, investors' and the fabric of our nation is divided and balkanized by politics. So after this period of uncertainty, our economy and our fragile national unity will be even worse off than it is today. This is certainly not the way to resuscitate our livelihoods. Yet, this economic downturn that we face in Kenya today is a reflection of the global financial crisis resulting from the post-COVID scenario, from the Ukraine war, and from the ravages of climate change, and even the severe drought that we have suffered ourselves in Kenya. So we, the women leaders here, and young people, I hope our young lady comes, the elders and Kenyan families today are saying we seek rational solutions built on what has worked for the community of Kenyans in the past. Women in business are asking that the effort to roll out the registration of MSMEs, medium, small, and micro enterprises, that this should be fast-tracked so that national organizations such as KEPSA, Commonwealth Business Women's Network, the National Chamber of Commerce and Industries, working with our government, can support grassroots businesses where women really are found to access funds and to grow their businesses. Over the years since the struggle for independence, Kenyan women from rural settings, from city-based settings, have been the vanguards for peace. Women have prayed and continue to pray. They have mediated at household level and at national level. Women have worked alongside their male counterparts in Kenya to secure our heritage of peace. Women continue to rise early to feed their families, to support the education of their children, and have worked on the farms to provide the stability of our nation. So we, therefore, representing women leaders of Kenya, seek peace on the streets. But we seek peace not on the streets, but by continuing to innovate and support the peaceful developmental efforts of our families. I'll repeat, we, representing women leaders of Kenya, seek peace, not on the streets, but by continuing to innovate and support the peaceful developmental efforts of our families. Kenyans today need jobs, they need productive work. Together, we seek solutions to put Kenyans to work and to provide them with incomes. And this can be done in partnership with industries, with businesses, with NGOs, non-governmental agencies, and in partnership with government departments. Last year, Kenyans participated in a peaceful transition following a hotly contested election. This was made possible by the strategic efforts and alliances of peace builders in private sector and local NGOs working with young people and other groups across the country. As a result, young people made an active choice to refrain from demonstrations, to refrain from radical and extreme behavior, and this provided the vehicle that carried Kenyans safely through the last electoral cycle. Already, as we are here, efforts are ongoing to embed a culture of cohesion and inclusion and positive experiences for our young people, especially during times of conflict and stress, such as the last election cycle. And so these are the experiences we want to see and wish to share across our country. We need to focus on national values, a common vision, a spirit of unity that our young people can espouse. And this opportunity to do so is here with us now. We have a revised curriculum, competency-based curriculum, in which we can embed our national values and lifestyles at every major educational milestone for young people. We have government players and non-state actors like the Youth, Peace and Security Network, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, in Kenya, Daima, religious leaders, the Global Peace Federation, Rotary clubs, and others who are ready to put their shoulders to the wheel to promote peace. As for the recent drought, we need to focus on community-driven action to grow trees, provide safe food, water, and sanitation for every Kenyan household. But these are only a few examples of what must be done. The women here have many more. So we as women, we are not impressed to hear that Honorable Odinga will, together with groups of citizens, men, women, young people, old people, march to State House, a restricted area, with a memorandum we hear, which will be presented, perhaps while he is in a secure vantage point, by a group of Kenyan citizens. We are similarly not impressed by the clanging of sufurias and the berets worn by very agitated youth. We and they have no guarantee that the demonstrations will be peaceful. Indeed, fracas has already broken out across the country. And so we are disappointed by a large number of Kenyans that are being rallied by an activist spirit led by our former Prime Minister and his team, when indeed what we need today and what we are asking them to provide is innovative, compassionate, focused leadership. Last year's electoral cycle is done. It was executed, adjudicated, and it's complete. The next elections are 4.5 years into the future. It's too early for political mobilization and for this uncertainty. So we as women are asking Kenyans, men and women, young and old, in the days ahead, to keep their eyes on the goal. We must grow our economy through unity and solidarity of purpose and focus on the local effects of global changes. We shall hold our government to account for policies and for services that we elected it to deliver. Meanwhile, Kenyans must play their role in finding solutions to addressing gaps that our communities face. And these solutions are not found on the street, but in the dedication of Kenyan citizens working together to reach a shared vision. Our statement ends there. Thank you very much for listening to me. We can now open it for discussion, and there are others. Please join us. Over to you.
Question. Just wanted to know, I'm seeing, is it, if you'll excuse me if I say, is this a representation of urban women, Nairobi-based, or countrywide? That's my first question. The second question is, I don't know, people have been agitating about the high cost of living, education, and power has gone up. I don't know where you've been, because now we are seeing you when there's an outcry from the opposition. So where have you been when the cost of living? I mean, you're not challenging the government. Someone might say, people are looking on one side, you're looking for favors in the government.
Thank you for your question. I think for me to answer, each of the women may talk about their organizations, and I'd like her to introduce herself, please. Just stand and tell us your name.
Good evening. I hope you can clearly hear me. My name is Christine Magoma. I am here as a representative of women, not only in urban spaces, but generally, in all ages. I am here as a student, I am here as a champion for peace, and I'm here standing on the shoulders of those who are great leaders. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'd like to allow others to speak and then I shall intervene at any point in the conversation. Please feel free.
All right. Thank you. Like I said, my name is Pauline Waroe, Commonwealth Business Women Network Kenya. We represent businesses managed by women, not just in Nairobi, but all over Kenya. We train women on how to do business. We listen to their grievances. We intervene on matters policy. So where have we been? We've been working. We have been listening. We are brought up in the villages. So we are not just Nairobians sitting here. We come from the villages. So what we are talking about is, number one, admittedly we say, if you look at the Constitution, we are saying, Chapter 37 says everybody has a right to demonstrate or picket. However, what we are saying is, with that right, there is no absolute power to actually go beyond what is stipulated in what demonstration or picketing is within the Constitution. We are here seeking that there is peaceful demonstration, but beyond that, that businesses are protected. You have seen some of the leaders actually saying, we will drink the water that will be along the paths that we'll be using. This is what we are here to talk about. That actually, when there is an issue, when there is no peace, it is women and children and the youth who are affected the most. When we say that, we are saying, how then can there be peaceful demonstrations that protect our businesses? Mine, the next woman, and it doesn't matter whether I sell Kumawiki, whatever I sell, business is business, and the agenda of every woman to do business is to feed and nurture their family. So this is what we are saying. How can we be protected? Secondly, we are saying, is the timing right? Yes, the prices are going up. Is it only in Kenya? Or have we seen that we have a global recess that we are working with? Guys, we have just come back from the ravages of COVID. Our business were affected. Most people will be, maybe are employed. When you ask that question, you are employed. Maybe you don't understand what it means to do business and actually what the effects of COVID was to us. Beyond that, we had last year the elections. We could not do business because everything comes to a standstill when we are doing the elections. Then beyond the elections, there was the time to actually now go back and forth, Supreme Court and everything. Businesses still went down. This is the moment after that we had the droughts. Natural causes. This is the moment when we are saying our businesses are going back. We are trying now to just step in. And you are saying, what is the effect of this to us as business women? And this is the whole statement that we are making, that everyone has a right to demonstrate, everyone has a right to picket, but please, as women, protect our businesses from tomorrow or for the days that the demonstrations will go through. That is our humble prayer.
Thank you. Does somebody else want to speak?
Yes. Thank you, my colleagues, for being very articulate. Speaking from the United Women's Council, I'm here to represent the Kenyan woman. We've asked a question, are you talking to urbanites or who are you talking to? The fact of the matter is, we are representing women because we have sat here to say that this is our opinion concerning tomorrow, and that is for all Kenyan women. Coming from the United Women's Council, an organization that is focused on building the capacity of women to lead this nation, I will not reiterate I will not repeat what my colleagues have said about the value of women in this nation. If we do not stand up for ourselves, then we cannot be assured of a future that will be prosperous. I am thinking right now of each home that is run by a woman, a single income home. What are you telling that mother tomorrow, who is not going to work? And she has to feed her children. How is that woman supposed to take care of her children, that agitated youth who is frustrated, who she has been trying to put together, and tomorrow he'll be on the streets? What are you doing to that family? The fact of the matter is, all these disruptions are breaking the fabric of this society. We must learn to move on. We are 7 months after the election. Why must we still be discussing things that can be dealt with using all the provisions that have been given by our law? And so, the question I ask Honorable Raila and his team, after tomorrow, then what next? Should we remain in a state of apprehension, not knowing whether our children will be going back to school? Our children have time right now. We've had time to spend with them. So on Tuesday, where are we supposed to take our children? Why is it that there are certain factions in this country who feel that they have the right to take away the opportunity for Kenyans to shape their destiny? There are many avenues for dialogue. We do not need to go on the streets. We can start dialogue in our homes and in our doubt ourselves as a mature democracy. Then can we be mature? You had the opportunity to vie for the position of presidency. It did not go your way. We must move on. And all we are asking for, can we maintain peace? The disruptions are just too many for us, and we need to move on as a nation. This nation is in dire need of healing. Healing cannot happen when we are on the streets. It must start at the home. And Honorable Raila, give us a chance to shape this nation.
Yes, you want another question? And I want to also just, add a little anecdote and then I would say, you know that question, are you women from Nairobi? Do you ever ask it to men? If a man was sitting here, would you ask him, by the way, were you from Nairobi when you read that statement, or are you from your rural area? I think that is a way that we've learned to demean our women. We do appreciate women whether they come from the city or from the rural area, but I assure you I've never heard that question asked to our brothers. So I'd like you to now start to resolve that question. And it's just that they've not told you. Commonwealth Business Women's Network are supporting women in fishing on the lake shore of Lake Victoria in Kisumu County, in Busia County, you know. And then I'd like to say some of our Rotary clubs, we've been giving water and food during drought to people in Isiolo, Samburu, Tharaka Nithi, perhaps places and villages you've not been. And during COVID, we even worked with health staff in hospitals, in peripheral settings, making sure they had PPE and talking with them about just the encouragement to keep coming back to work. While others were sitting in their homes, we were out there working. So the fact that we are not always in front of the media isn't because we choose an opportunity to harness it for self-interest. Rather, it's because we have been working to serve other Kenyans during the interim. But there are times when, having done that service, you're called to speak. And we're speaking for those voices that can't be here today. I hope that answers your question.
Let me just add one more thing, Dr. John. Sorry, my dear. Let me just add one more question. Today is a Sunday. We should have been at home with our children. But we got up and said, ladies, we must stand and represent the women of this nation. And so let me reiterate what Dr. John was saying. It's actually offensive. I'm almost asking, is it because we are well dressed? Is there anything wrong with that? We got up and we are standing for the women of this nation.
All right, let's ask other questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to specifically answer that question.
Yes.
I'm getting you that all of you are investors. And you are very much concerned about this nation. And then there's that, are you telling the Prime Minister to give a chance to dialogue? He's talking about cost of living. What solution as investors? What do you think? What is the best way that the Prime Minister might be is telling me that it's an advocate for that cost of living? What give us a solution? What do you think they could have done better so that he can also be able to challenge the government? Do you think through demonstration we can be able to address those cost of living? So specifically,
question two. We can take two.
Yes.
Go ahead.
My question is, have you, as a group, tried to bring to President? My name is Festus Lagat. My question is, have you, as a group, tried to reach President William Ruto or Raila Odinga as a group? And secondly, are you for the handshake or you are afterward? That's the question.
Okay, those are many questions, so I think some of them will be answered. And some of them, I won't answer all. I'll start with some and then move forward. The thing is that we are investors in our economy, such as each one of us. You invest by your daily efforts. We invest by the efforts we bring through NGOs, through private sector, through organized groups. You heard us mention KEPSA. KEPSA is more than willing to partner with government to fast track small, micro, and medium enterprises, not just registration, but ensuring that they receive the need for training and financial support for those businesses to grow. Once you have purchasing power, then indeed, even though we know we are facing a globally hard financial setting, you can put food on your table. So what we are saying is, and it's happened before, private sector is ready to partner with government, like it's done before during critical periods of Kenya's history, so that we find a middle ground where it's not just government, although we'll hold them to account, but it's also private sector, NGOs, philanthropists, humanitarian actors on the table, filling the gap. The cost of business is escalating, we agree, and there will be need for measures to hold that down. At macroeconomic level, there are amongst us those of us who can talk about macroeconomic policy and be at tables where we need to engage investors both locally and internationally to stabilize our economy. And if called on, we have no lack of ability to do so, okay? And those are deeper conversations which we can take up at any one time. But the thing is that we are here today speaking, and I hear Mr. Lagat asking, where is the point of engagement? We have a young government. Yes, they're reaching out, and we hope that they will reach out to all of those Kenyans who are capable. Indeed, you have to put the interface in place, such as the ministers, the CAS, the PSs, and the directors. And now that we're beginning to see the form of government, we shall use those interfaces to speak. And we shall bring our offerings, our capacities to the table. But before such a time, where would we take it? It's possible that one person in the name of the head of state, and even one person in the name of the opposition leader, cannot meet every group. Now we have the interface in place rapidly. That's where we shall engage, and this is why we're engaging with you today. There's an answer here. Please go ahead. I hope that helps, but go ahead.
You just switch the seats.
Well, the next up.
Mine is very brief. I'm going to say that we are here also as women in our capacity from our homes. We know that the economy is very tough right now. We appreciate that the economy is very tough for each one of us right now. We are experiencing it in our homes, and there is no doubt that we feel it even from our homes. So what I can say, we are here as women leaders across the board. And a question was posed to us, whether we have met Honorable, Right Honorable Raila or the President. There comes a time when, as women, we don't have to meet them, but we have to speak out on behalf of our country. Because if those demonstrations happen tomorrow and the lives of the youth are at risk, the elderly, who I personally from my organization really hold dear, and the children are caught up in the CBD, it is us as women who will be the first to suffer. So we are here not because of anything else, but because we feel that the demonstrations tomorrow may not be peaceful. And we have the right as women across the country, and that's why we come from different organizations to speak on behalf of our nation. We believe that we are doing this because we feel if tomorrow something happens, an elder is caught up in CBD, they'll be taken to hospital. They may not even have the money with the hard economic times to take care of their health. So it is for us to speak on their behalf. We were asked whether we are urban women. I come from Mount Kenya region, but I speak here at Serena for that woman in Meru, for that woman in Laikipia, for that woman in Rodwa, because I have a voice to speak on their behalf. They can't come all here at Serena to say that they oppose tomorrow's demonstration. But we as women here can speak on their behalf to say we are not for the demonstrations because we are not sure whether they will be peaceful. Let me say this. We are not opposed to what is happening because we feel the hard economic time, all of us. But is this the right avenue to use? There are many avenues that Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga can use to dialogue with the president. Because honestly, we understand particularly the issue of hard economic times. But in the process, if we lose the youth, if we lose the elderly, we are at a loss as a country. So I beg him, though late in the day, kindly stop tomorrow's demonstrations.
From the lady, and then there is a young lady behind me.
Yeah, good afternoon. So I appreciate the good job that you guys are doing. And we've seen in the recent past, despite the fact that women and children and youth are the most affected, we still see many women on the roads accompanying these protesters. And even tomorrow, we still see them. What are we doing in our advocacy to make sure that these women are still protected? Because one way or another, either they're given 100 shillings and they feel that will help buy a wiki for their children for that day. But again, is that enough for these women to be protected? And in the process of you guys doing a very good job in ensuring that women are not suffering, how are we going to stop this?
I think I can, all right, let's take it another.
Yes, my name is Mr. Kayombo. What can you tell a woman from Korogocho, Kibera, who can't afford to buy 2 kg of unga, and if she think tomorrow's demonstration, that what will save her life? What can you tell her?
Good afternoon. This is Jeremy from Ghetto Radio, and my question is, a former Prime Minister just said that we are going to have peaceful demonstration. Why are you doubting him?
Good one, good one. I think I'll start with you. He said we are going to have a demonstration, and I will say chapter 37 says everyone has a right to demonstrate as long as they are unarmed. They have a right to assemble, isn't it? So why are we doubting? Today you are the same people who reported about Kisumu. There were two groups that were already fighting, one pro, one against. So already we have seen evidence. The second thing I'm going to tell you, in this country we have not had peaceful demonstrations based on political aspects. It has never happened. So based on history, we are very sure it will not be peaceful. We have seen that the police have come out and said they were not notified. So what do you think will happen tomorrow? The youth will say, yes, you are notified, and nobody knows, because you always say they are the two people who are giving the information, and then there is the truth. What is the truth? So historically, we have not. What are we going to tell a woman for Korogosho tomorrow, or even now? This is what I can sit here and say. When you see us sitting on this side of the table, we are equally hurting. Our businesses are affected. We are also not here just because we come just to be seen on TV. Someone has asked, where were we? We were busy working. I'll tell you, Commonwealth business women, as at yesterday, our members were both in Kisumu and Kilifi, trying to get intervention and funding so that we can be able to treat the women of Kisumu whose eyes get hurt because of the oil. You know, when you fry the fish, the small droplets that get into your eyes actually turns them blind. What did I tell the woman of Korogocho? Will picketing, demonstration, and particularly where we are almost guaranteed that there will be violence, we need to bring money to the pocket. We need to bring money to the pocket. I think the media has a strong responsibility to educate these women that really what we are doing in terms of these organizations trying to bring women empowerment so that tomorrow we can actually show them how to make, add value to their products, how we can be able to take that kiondo out of Kibera or the beadwork out of Kibera into the developed world so that they can earn dollars, and it is not, it is not just for a select few, that they themselves don't have to go through a middleman. What will happen tomorrow? That woman that we are talking should go to the streets tomorrow is actually being denied the opportunity to grow her business by virtue of where will investors come from tomorrow? Will we have investors tomorrow? If you are signing a deal for Kenya to actually come and invest here, will you sign it tomorrow? Yet when the developed world will say, don't go to Kenya, there is unrest, where will you be when we have not protected our people and gone ahead and educated them on why we need to have interventions, skilling up? Why are we all here in this room speaking English? Because we got a chance to be educated. How many children will go to school tomorrow? And this is what we are saying. We are not just speaking as Nairobi elitist women. We are speaking as mothers. We are speaking as people who, when this young girl looking at me, beautiful as she is, that tomorrow she has an opportunity to play on the global platform. But when we affect our investors, when tomorrow, how many tourists will be in Nairobi spending tomorrow? And this is what we are talking about. And this is what we want, even the press, as much as you'll be having a scoop, please, please join us. So that tomorrow, because you are here, I will tell you, look, if it was not about tomorrow, you would not be here. It is about the scoop. But as you take this scoop, where will you be tomorrow? Don't look at us and think you're older. We were running here in University of Nairobi just the other day. Life happens. So let us now come together and say, how will we build our country? Young people, is this the way?
Thank you very much. I think I was done.
Just one last thing.
Huh?
Sorry.
The voice of the young person behind him.
Yes, okay.
I think the perspectives of this kind of come out. And as she's sitting down, I also want to say that amongst us, particularly from the Rotary family, we're working with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and the Arts to put in place a Youth, Peace and Security Secretariat. And this secretariat has under it a coalition of young people-driven organizations. And what they're doing is they're looking at sustainable peace. And sustainable peace is not just the absence of arms or the absence of conflict. It is young people planting trees for peace. It is young people involved in sporting activities for peace. It is young people who are entrepreneurs and therefore earning an income and therefore vanguards for peace. And these activities are actually being supported not just by the young people alone, not just by government alone, but now even by the international community. And part of this international community, we have Finland as a government and others. So I want you to know their efforts abound, because someone has asked, what has been done or what are we doing? And lastly, before I give it to the young lady, you asked about whether we have met with the head of state or with the former prime minister. We're challenging you, members of the fourth estate. You are the interface that will take our faces to them. Please don't let us down, because that is a question you asked. Let them know what the community of Kenyans are thinking. Not just those who are advising them because they are close to them politically, but what really are the voices of Kenyans. Let me hand it over to Christine to speak a little bit about young people.
Thank you very much. Once again, my name is Christine Magoma, and I'm here as a representative of young people especially. And in this particular forum, we have young women. The reality is that, as she had indicated earlier on, in this country, we have not seen peaceful demonstrations, not unless there's someone in this room who wants to point me towards that direction. When have we seen peaceful demonstrations? It's true that the economy is affecting each and every person. We are not only the future of tomorrow, we are the future of here and now. And the problem is that if we go to the streets tomorrow, then what next? Where are we taking this country to? As Dr. Josephine has said, I have been in a forum where we've discussed youth, peace, and security. And please allow me to indicate that for the youth, and I have been involved in forums, other forums where we are talking about social media for peace, technology for peace. We have young people being mobilized, or rather being called to spaces through technology platforms, which is quite unfortunate. You go to a podium, you say A, B, C, D. Young people are on Facebook, are on Instagram, and other different platforms. There's a hashtag trending that is probably filled with a lot of information disorder. What does that mean for that person who does not have access to factual information? They will go out on the streets, they will suffer, yet you're probably in your house. You do not bear the burden of young people. When finances are not available, when jobs are not available to us, what does that mean for us as young people when you call us to the streets? As women especially, what does that mean for us? We have got to ask these questions before calling young people to the streets to demonstrate. It's not that demonstration is not legally right or legally approved. The only challenge is that can we really have peaceful demonstrations? Until then, we must be able to question the process. And maybe, and probably, I recommend upholding democracy, negotiations, diplomacy in this country, so that young people are not the tool to be used to drive an agenda that does not end up benefiting them directly. Thank you.
I just want us to hear the voice of young people crying. Remember, our young girls were violated during COVID-19, and we've just come out of that. And when now they are called on the street tomorrow, well, you men are running, they're the ones who can be trapped and again be violated again. When we have disorder, it's the young ones, and particularly the young girls, who suffer most. Please listen. We are asking that we look for innovation and different ways to get beyond this particular impasse.
Yes, I just have one last thing. I've just listened to this young lady who's very articulate. At UWC, we are focusing on building women leaders so that in the next election cycle, we have more of us representing the women of Kenya. Last year, we saw a lot of women standing up for political position, and we recognize the fact that they needed to be educated and their capacity needed to be built. Now, the question is to Honorable Raila, who selected a woman to be his running mate? If he honestly cares for this country, majority of us are women in this country. Why is he doing this? If he honestly cares for this country, then he should think about the woman first.
All right, maybe just the last one.
Swali lingine hapo kesho kuna maandamano pia ya aliyekuwa seneta